right, here we are talking about this Fusion, the Harley Benton Fusion guitar, the one with the Floyd Rose bridge. And I have to say that this guy came in well, but out of all of my Fusion guitars, this is my least favorite one. And I will tell you why. First, on the highlights, all right, just like all of the other Harley Benton Fusion guitars, it has the roasted maple neck and roasted maple fretboard, and it has also the stainless steel frets. These frets are also tall, but they feel less tall than the other Fusion guitars that I have, which seems to me very fitting, very good choice of these guys, because taller frets don't necessarily allow for fast playing, and they allow for hard playing, for rock, but not hard, in bachata actually, but not fast playing per se. So it's a good thing that they did that for this particular model. Another thing that is a highlight is the Floyd Rose that they've chosen to place on this guy. It's not the cheapest Floyd Rose. It's actually a fairly decent version of it. It's like a beginner version. Next highlight is this is the lightest and thinnest of all of the Fusion guitars. You know, fast playing, rock and roll. And this is the only one that doesn't have locking tuners, but the tuners are good quality as well. Now, from all of my Harley Bentons, this has the hardest time to tune this guitar because of the fact of Floyd Rose that it comes with is good. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either. So these tuning pegs here, they're a little bit of a pain in the ass. Not that great, but they're not bad. It's just that they're not as good as the locking tuners in the other Fusion to make the guitar play. The reason why this guitar is not my favorite or is my least favorite of all of my Fusions is because number one, it's a thinnest neck profile. It's very thin. Not my cup of tea, but there is an audience for that. It's not like I like super thick necks, but it's not like I like Kramer style shredder necks either. My perfect neck profile is a Telecaster, like an American vintage Telecaster, kind of like a C shape. All right. And then number two is that my favorite or most important or requested feature of these Fusion tees are those stainless steel tall frets, and this guy doesn't have very tall frets at all. They're good. They're actually taller than most guitars. This feels like I can dig into it, but the other ones are even deeper. Finally, it's a beautiful finish. I love the finish. I wish this was natural as well, but this is good too. And it's a very good guitar. And if you are looking for a Floyd Rose style guitar, this is fine. Now, that being said, I find that the Wilkinson trim is easier to work with. I just purchased this guy because I wanted to mess around with Floyd Rose. And I'll keep working in it and with it until I figure out how to use it into my music effectively, but so far not much luck. I still feel uncomfortable with it. I think it takes some time. It's a lot of moving parts, and it could be crazy to set up a Floyd Rose bridge. A downside of this guitar I must point out is that the routing around the pickups, I hope you can see here, maybe not. It's not very clean. You can see some pieces of wood coming off. It's actually kind of sloppy, especially compared to how much care they put into the other guitars. However, this is the one that came the most intact out of all of the Fusion that I've purchased. They always come with a ding or a scratch or maybe a broken headstock or something fishy. So, I guess that's where you get what you pay for. It's not a perfect guitar, but it's definitely a usable one, and it's definitely a beautiful one as well, and a fantastic starting point if you are looking into this kind of modern features in guitars, like stainless steel fret, roasted maple neck, and so on. I highly recommend this guitar, again, like all of the other Fusions, to anybody that wants a modification platform and anybody that that wants to try these features and don't have the budget for a Tarvel or a Sir or other higher end guitars that are like $1,000 or more. One thing to point out is that these pickups, they sound very good. They're very dynamic in humbucker mode, but once you split the coil, it's a completely different setup. They're very weak, which is not the case of the great one, and not even the case of the Fusion T, which is my favorite one. This one loses a lot of power. It's more similar to the case of the Super Strat, that is HSH. That being said, if you calibrate the pickups for having the right amount of gain in single coil from your amp preamp, and then for humbucker you just dial it, roll down the volume knob to adjust the taste when you're in humbucker mode, you can get pretty interesting tones, and literally you can also crank up an amp just by flickering a switch if that's what you wish to do. All right, so it's a minus for the most part, but it could also be a plus if you use it or if you apply this knowledge creatively. All right, highly recommend this Fusion guitar. A great buy, a great deal, like most Harley Benton guitars and the whole Fusion line. So kudos to the guys at Thomann for producing these amazing instruments that are making these features available for us and allowing us to try many different types of guitars. Fantastic deal with Harley Benton guitars. Highly recommend, and expect to receive guitars with less than perfect deliberately, like some flaws, minor flaws, cosmetic flaws. Expect that and you won't be disappointed. And if you get one that is perfectly mint, you're very lucky. This is my experience, right? Hope it helps you. Cheers.